This copyrighted recording is licensed by Major League Baseball. Any reproduction or other commercial use of this recording, in whole or part, is prohibited.
Jerry Royce with Steve Yeager behind the plate. Garvey Lopes, Russell Say, Baker, Thomas Guerrero. And Sparky, pleasant day to you, sir. How are you?
Oh, I feel good today, Benny. We've had two good games to start out with, and then two wild games. They've been great for the Dodger fans, the last two, but they haven't been the greatest baseball games as far as from a baseball standpoint.
Well, we'll see now what Jerry Royce will do. The big blonde up on top hangs 10 as he looks in to get a sign, and the first pitch is a little low, ball one. Rich Garcia of the American League behind the plate, Dick Stello at first, Larry Barnett at second, and Nick Colosi at third. The 1-0 pitch is low again, with Terry Cooney on the left field line and Doug Harvey on the right field line. So Royce, whose strength is downstairs, has started too low, and he's behind 2-0 to Willie Randolph. The left-hander comes back, and this one's in there for a strike. 2-1. Willie Randolph hitting 167. He had two big hits yesterday, though, a triple and a home run. Fouls the pitch away, 2-2. How do you like to pitch Randolph, Spark?
You got to keep the ball down, and that's what Jerry's trying to do. You keep the ball down on him. He loves the ball up and over the plate.
So 2-2 to second baseman Willie Randolph, who went 0 for 2 against Royce in New York. And the next one is a little high, ball 3, 3-2. Mike Ferraro coaching at first, Joe Altobelli around at third. Royce ready, and Jerry's 3-2 pitch is a check swing ground ball to Garvey. He underhands to Royce, coming over, one away. So Randolph tapping out, one down, and the batter will be Larry Milburn. Rather than give you a whole lot of numbers today, perhaps we ought to just look at how these men did against each other so recently. For instance, Larry Milburn, he went 0 for 2 against Jerry Royce. The people who hurt Royce, for instance, Jerry Mumphrey, and Mumphrey is not in the lineup. He had a couple of base hits, but of course Bob Watson hit the 3-run home run against him. Here is Larry Milburn, the switch-hitting shortstop, and he hits a high chopper over the mound. Lopes charging, gloves it, throws low. Garvey dug it out. Davy Lopes, it would appear, did not have to hurry that nearly as much as he did. He almost threw it away.
Yeah, he tried to hurry the ball too much, and he could have just stopped almost and taken his time.
That's probably first inning jitters in Game 5 of the World Series.
Well, you're anxious, too. You want to get over and get him out fast.
Well, here is Dave Winfield, and of course a lot has been said and written about the fact that Winfield is 0 for 14. In fact, as Jim Murray wrote in his national column today, Dave Winfield cost New York more than the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I tell you, when you're 0 for 14 with those kind of bucks,
Jerry Royce delivers, and Winfield, after a breaking ball, swung on and missed, and he came off the ground. He literally jumped in the air. He swung so hard. Winfield struck out in his first at-bat against Royce and flied out in their two meetings. 0-1, the count to Dave Winfield. Back comes Royce, and this time he's high and inside, 1-1.
This is a different Royce today, Vinny, and we're going to have the Shadows an hour earlier today, so him and Guidry both should be tough.
Royce standing back of the rubber. Dave Winfield, hands almost out in front of his heart as he moves the bat back and forth. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and fouled back. 1-2. On deck, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, vitally involved in yesterday's game with a couple of base hits, a couple of walks, a home run, and losing a fly ball in the sun. And believe me, Reggie Jackson joins a long and distinguished list of American ball players who have lost fly balls in the sun here at Dodger Stadium in the fall. He certainly doesn't stand alone in that happenstance. 1-2, the count to Dave Winfield. Royce squinting into Yeager. Jerry ready and delivers. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Well, it's a different first inning for Royce today, and at the end of half an inning, the Yankees nothing, and the Dodgers coming up. Bottom of the first inning, the Yankees failed to score. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
Number 50,
Now, bottom of the first inning, the Dodgers with Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, and Steve Garvey against left-hander Ron Guidry. 11-5 against the American League. 3-0 lifetime against the Dodgers. Louisiana Lightning. He's from Lafayette, Louisiana. Ron Guidry, 31 years old, 5'11", 162-pounder. And he's a battler, Spark, huh?
He's a battler, and he's got that good breaking ball. He didn't show it as good the other day, although he pitched well.
So Davy Lopes will start it off. Lopes hitting .267 in this World Series. He had a couple of hits yesterday. He takes a strike in the count 0-1. Rich Garcia raising his right leg on that pitch as if it hurt the plate umpire. 0-1. Guidry into his windup. The strike one pitch. Fastball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Dodgers have done pretty well against the Yankees at Dodger Stadium the last few years. They've won 7 of the 10 games played here. The 1-1 pitch, waved at and missed, hard breaking ball, 1-2. However, the Dodgers have not done well at all in Yankee Stadium. They've lost 6 straight there. That's what points up this game and the importance it will have in the outcome of the series. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Davy Lopes. Swung on and missed, and down he goes. And boy, I tell you what, that's a mean pitch.
Yeah, that's the one there. When he's getting that one over and getting, especially with 2 strikes, that's when he starts striking out 8, 10 people.
Roy Campanella used to call that hard downstairs breaking ball like that the public enemy number 1. And a couple of those to Davy Lopes will be on the walls of post offices throughout the United States. Here's Bill Russell. Russell hitting .235 in the series. Guidry into the windup. Ron delivers, and it's on the hands, popped up. It'll be the third baseman, Rodriguez, in front of the shortstop, Milburn, to make the catch. So Guidry comes out throwing hard. And with 2 down in the first inning, Steve Garvey, the batter. Garvey hitting .500 in the World Series. He is 8 for 16. However, he has not found people on the base paths. With his 8 hits and 16 at-bats, he does not have a run batted in. On deck, Ron Say. Guidry checked quickly to see where his infield is on the left side. Milburn is close to the rim. And the first pitch to Garvey, fastball low and inside, ball 1, 1-0. For Ron Guidry, he came back from the strike a better pitcher than prior to the strike. He was 6-2 in the second half. Garvey hits a little nubber over the head of Willie Randolph. That's going to fall for a base hit. Well, we were talking before yesterday about hitters who are jammed and are strong enough to get the ball into center field. And I was saying Tommy Davis, and Sparky, you said Steve Garvey, and just there was a repeat for the West Coast.
Yeah, we used to yell at him. I didn't. Some of my players used to yell sometimes, "Go get a good steak."
So Steve Garvey, a bloop single. That means he is 9 for 17 in the series. And here is Ron Say. Say hitting .333 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Guidry, a look at Garvey, and the first pitch very high, ball 1. Say did not do anything against Guidry in their meeting in New York. 1-0 to count. 2 down, first inning, no score. Guidry, a look at Garvey, and he goes over there. What about his move to first? Good one?
Just there. He has one of those moves. He'll guess with you. The runners try to guess with him and run because he don't have a great move.
Guidry leaning on his right knee. Garvey cautiously held on by Watson. The 1-0 pitch to Say. Checked his swing. They're going to look at first. Swing, said Dick Stello. And the count 1-1. Willie Randolph way over to his right to fill up the middle. So with Watson holding the runner, Say has almost the whole right side of the infield wide open. 1-1. Guidry, another look at Ron Say. Comes to him now. Breaking ball popped in the air, foul. That'll go back into the seats. And Say was definitely trying to take a shot at right field on that to take advantage of the way the infield is set up.
You know, Vinny, Guidry does one thing good that a lot of left-handers who don't have a good move do. He gets the ball to the plate fast. Once he starts to the plate, he goes very quick.
Ron Guidry taking a little walk behind the mound now to work on a new ball. 1-2 to count to Ron Say with Dusty Baker on deck. Game 5 of this 1981 World Series, each team having won 2 of the preceding 4. Guidry ready, and the 1-2 pitch to Say. Fouled away, and again, hitting that breaking ball inside out and sending it back to the screen. The outfield, not overly committed. Jackson almost straight away and right. In fact, Reggie was talking about the sun here, saying it is a bigger sun than anywhere else because there's such a haze, and it seems to diffuse it, and you can't really get under it. The 1-2 pitch. Just inside. Was that his change?
That's his changeup. He started using it this year, and really after he came back after the strike, and it's made him a better pitcher. Don't use it a lot.
No, but it was a dandy. 2-2, the count to Ron Say. No score, first inning, 2 out. Guidry, a look over at Garvey, the left-hander at the belt, now to the plate. Fastball low, ball 3. So Ron Say backs out for the moment. 3-2 the count. Garvey will be going. Watson holding the bag on him.
That's surprising. 3-2 and 2 out. Why Watson would be holding him on?
That's right. I would think he'd be behind him, but he's holding the corner, and they'll throw over there. So Garvey's going to go, and they just don't want him to have too much of a lead. But it sure does give the inside on the right side of the infield a wide open door policy. Here's a 3-2 pitch instead of throw to first. What is the phrase now in Washington? A window of vulnerability. Well, the right side of the Yankee infield right now would be that, the way they're deployed. Guidry staring into Rick Cerrone, the left-hander ready. Garvey goes, and the pitch is fouled away, trickling outside of third and down the line. In case you joined us a little late, Randolph grounded to Garvey, who threw over to Jerry Royce covering. Milburn rolled out to Davy Lopes, who threw in the dirt, and Garvey dug it out nicely, and Dave Winfield struck out. The Dodgers had Davy Lopes strike out, Bill Russell pop up, Garvey a bloop single to center, and we have a full count on Ron Say. Guidry out of a stretch, the left-hander ready. Garvey goes, and the breaking ball is ball 4. For the umpteenth time in the World Series, a slumping hitter comes up with a golden opportunity to help. Dusty Baker. Baker has 2 hits in 15 at-bats. And with 2 out, here he is. Bake yesterday struck out twice, had an infield single. Guidry's first pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1.
I will say one thing in Dusty's behalf, Vinny. They've made a lot of good pitches on him. I know they've made some bad ones he's missed, but they've made a lot of tough pitches on him.
Ron Guidry out of his stretch. A look at the runners. Strike 1. Pitch is high. A fastball that seemed to sail. 1-1. When you managed against Baker, how did you like the pitching?
We tried to pitch him away. He likes the ball middle in, and he's a pretty good breaking ball hitter. He hasn't showed in the series, but he is.
Steve Garvey at second. Ron Say at first. 2 out in the first inning, no score. 1-1 pitch to Baker. Fastball line to left, but coming in and over is Piniella to make the catch as he dropped to his knees. And Baker can't hit him any harder than that. Good play by Lou Piniella. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left, and at the end of an inning, no score. Second inning here at Dodger Stadium, no score in the ball game. Reggie Jackson, followed by Bob Watson, and then Lou Piniella. And Jerry Royce on the grass behind the mound. Plate umpire Rich Garcia looking over at the Dodger dugout for the moment, and now we're about ready. Jackson came back into the World Series with a bang yesterday. Reggie had 2 singles, 2 walks, and then he homered against left-hander Steve Howe. So now he'll face Jerry Royce. They did not face each other in New York. Jerry into the windup, and the fastball in there at the knees, and the count 0-1. For Royce, it's as simple as that. If he can stay down around the knees, he's extremely difficult. If he comes up, he gets hurt. Fastball is hit down the left field line for a base hit. Baker over to play the carom, and it is wrapped up in the bunting, I believe, and it will be a ground rule double for Reggie Jackson, and that makes him 4 for 4 in the series. He's remarkable.
He's a Broadway show. I'm telling you, Vinny, the man, when it comes on the line, believe me, when they talk about all the other Yankees, this guy is the guy that'll beat you.
Why is it, then, that he hits .237 during the regular season?
Well, I think it's the case this year. He got off so bad this year, Vinny, and he wasn't swinging the bat good. And then after the strike, he finally started swinging the bat. But He's a human being, but I'll tell you this, when the money's on the line, Reggie Jackson will produce.
Tommy Lasorda is out conferring with the umpires. That ball went down in the left field corner, and I assume it wrapped up in the bunting. There was no way that Baker could have had a play. If a fan touches the ball, it is automatically dead. And Lasorda now has apparently got it out of his system and goes back to the dugout. So Reggie Jackson, a line drive double into the left field corner with nobody out, and Bob Watson the batter. Watson hitting .500. He's 7 for 14 with 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. He's the big man.
And he'll go to right field. This guy does it just time and time again.
Nobody out. Jackson at second. Curve is line foul over the Yankee dugout, and like a flat rock on a pond, that thing skipped about 8 times to go 15 rows back in. Boy, you call that in a hurry.
Well, he just knows how to play. He plays the game the way the game was meant to be played.
Reggie Jackson at second base. Nobody out in the second inning. No score. The strike one pitch is in there at the knees. Strike two. Watson didn't think so. 0-2 the count. On deck, Lou Piniella, who stayed with that hard line drive hit by Baker to bail out Guidry in the first inning. Strike two pitch is hit foul off first base. In other words, he's still going to try to go with 2 strikes on him.
Bobby tries, unless now with 2 strikes, if they get it dead in, he'll pull. But he'll try to go to right. He's really a team player.
Jerry Royce, 32-year-old left-hander out of St. Louis, Missouri. So the young man from the Show Me State in the middle of the showcase right now. 0-2, the count to Bob Watson. Royce kicks, delivers just inside. He threw hard and tight, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, Benny, I think we forget to mention the tough pitch that Jackson hit. That ball he hit was low and away from him. It's a perfect pitch.
1-2 to Bob Watson. No score, top of the second inning. Royce out of his stretch. Another look at Reggie. Back to the plate, inside at the kneecaps, and the count 2-2. So he's kept the ball inside Watson's shirt, and he's even up the count.
But his stuff today, with the 5 days, going on the 5th day, is totally different. He got super stuff out that day.
He had worked on the 7th, the 11th, then the 16th, and the 20th. And finally, this being the 25th, he's had 5 days, and you can see the difference. Now, the plate umpire, Rich Garcia, looking out towards center field, and he is going to the Dodger dugout to talk to Tom Lasorda. There is, among other things, a car parked out there sideways, and the setting sun is hitting that car, and it looks like headlights beaming in towards home plate. And that could be a problem indeed. If that's it, it might be something else.
If I know Tommy, he's saying, yeah, we'll take care of this as soon as the inning is over.
Yeah, we'll move the car. Just give us a little time. Darrell Thomas is going to the center field fence and would appear to be talking to the people out there. I have a feeling that we might see the car, but perhaps not down on the field. Maybe the fence would cover that. There would be something above the fence. But no doubt it is something distracting the hitters. So Reggie Jackson at second, nobody out. 2-2 the count to Bob Watson. We're in the second inning, no score. Royce pulls down the stretch. The left-hander kicks and delivers. Ground ball to the right side in the hole. Plugged up by Lote, who drops it, throws too late. He had to play and let it get away. And now, not only did Watson advance his man, he has reached first base safely.
You know, Vinny, I don't think the fans really realize how... That's 0 for 1 for Watson, really, if we go as time as back. But that's what the game was meant to be. That's why Bob Watson can play the game, and it's a difference.
They haven't flashed it yet on the scoreboard. Remember, there are 3 official scorers. And now they do flash error because Lote had it in his glove and let it get away. So the error charge to Lote, runners at first and third with nobody out. Lou Piniella, Rick Cerrone, and Aurelio Rodriguez. Piniella, a very good hitter, hitting .364 in the series, 4 for 11, 1 RBI, right-hand batter. Royce set, checks, and delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. It should be noted, and we mentioned it the first game of the series, Royce, although he is considered a power pitcher, is not what you'd call a strikeout pitcher. His high, only a half a dozen. He's been averaging about 3 a game. Jerry out of his stretch, and the strike one pitch on the way. As a ground ball to the hole, through into left field, and the Yankees are on the scoreboard. Stopping at second is Watson. It is 1-0 New York. You know, Piniella, I'm sure, does not get his share of headlines in New York, but for someone like myself who just sees him like now or in the exhibition, boy, he can swing the bat.
I told you, Vinny, him, Nettles, Jackson, they are what you call money players. They're the guys that will do it when you have to do it.
Piniella just has that nice stroke. It seems like he's going to hit the ball and hit it wherever it's pitched and without making any fuss about it. 2 on and nobody out. Here is Rick Cerrone, the catcher, hitting .286 in the series. Royce delivers, and the first one a strike, and the count 0-1. Cerrone has a home run and 3 runs batted in. He had the home run and a double against Fernando Valenzuela. The Dodgers are moving around in the bullpen. Royce in a jam, 0-1 the count. Dave Stewart gets up in the Dodger bullpen, and the strike 1 pitch, a high chopper to Russell. He hurries to Lopes for 1. The Garvey double play. And what an effort Piniella made to break up the double play, but Lopes was just able to get rid of the ball before Piniella unloaded. And on the double play, Watson takes third. So double play, 6-4-3. 2 down. Rodriguez with Ron Guidry to follow. Now, this is a basic, simple bit of strategy, but would you pitch to Rodriguez when you have a pitcher who doesn't hit coming up next?
Yeah, because Tommy knows that Royce knows who's coming up next, and Jerry's not going to give Rodriguez anything, in my mind, to hit.
Rodriguez is 4 for 8 in the series since he spelled Greg Nettles. Royce delivers, ground ball hit by the mound. Russell charging, picks it up, throws to first in time. So the Dodgers get out of it cheaply enough. 1 run, 2 hits. There was an error and a man left. And at the end of an inning and a half, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. Thank you, Jay Jones. Pedro Guerrero hitting .231 in the series. He has 3 hits, 1 RBI, one of his hits a double. So Guerrero will start it off against Ron Guidry with the Yankees leading 1-0. And Guidry's fastball is a high fly ball to right center. Winfield says he has it as he goes to just about to the warning track and make the catch. So long out to right center field, 1 down. And Steve Yeager, the batter.
He let that ball get in on just a little bit. And that's the ball Guerrero, I can see, really likes to swing at. The ball up and over the plate. He let it get on him just a little.
Yeah, he is basically a fastball hitter. I'm surprised he sees as many fastballs as he does. Here's Steve Yeager. Yeager is 1 for 6. That was a home run. He has 2 runs batted in. Guidry into the windup, delivers, and Yeager takes a strike, 0-1. You might remember that Yeager homered against Ron Guidry in the 5th inning of Game 1 at Yankee Stadium. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. Guidry deals, swung on and missed, strike 2. Good fastball down and away.
I tell you, Vinny, with those shadows, the way they're out front of that plate already, ooh, that pitcher's really got an advantage.
1-0 Yankees here in the 2nd inning. Ron Guidry ready in the strike 2 pitch. Breaking ball and a drive to left field. Going back is Piniella to the wall. Leaps up. It's off the top of the wall. It's a stand-up double for Yeager. He missed a home run by a foot or so. And Lou Piniella very slowly getting up. He's okay. Piniella hit the track, and of course, as soon as you hit the dirt, you know you're running out of real estate, and the ball hit less than a foot from going out. There is some protective padding atop the wall, and it looked like it hit that padding. So Yeager came within less than a foot of hitting the home run. And of course, Piniella came within less than a foot of catching the ball.
And you know, Vinny, if Winfield had been in left field, he'd have caught that ball easy because of the height.
That's right. Winfield at 6'6". So a runner at second with 1 out, and here is Darryl Thomas. Here defensively yesterday, and now making a World Series start batting right-handed. Swings, doesn't get it on 1. For Tommy Lasorda, it's not that he really wanted to play Thomas, but he was forced into it. He has Monday and Landreau, neither one doing much particularly against left-handers. And Darryl doesn't swing the bat well right-handed, and he hits a fly ball to Winfield in shallow left center. Winfield misjudged it, coming in, stumbles, and did he catch it? Yes. And holding at second is Yeager. Dave Winfield evidently either lost it or thought the ball was hit a lot harder than it was, and he was digging for his life.
I think they must be losing that ball. Pinella had a little trouble on that line drive, too. They must be losing with the shirt spin.
So Winfield catching it. All the while, Yeager was standing on second base. And with 2 down, the batter is Jerry Royce. So Guerrero flied out. Yeager missed a home run by less than a foot. Now Thomas, pop fly into shallow center, caught by Winfield, and Royce fouls it away. 0-1. 1-0 Yankees. We're in the bottom of the second. Reggie Jackson doubled and came home on a single by Lou Piniella. Piniella standing in a lattice work of shadows out there in left field. The strike one pitch, instead Guidry off the rubber, and he wants Rick Cerrone to go over the signs again.
I'm surprised that Winfield plays so deep in center field, though, with the pitcher up.
Yeah, with Jerry Royce, who is not that good a hitter. The strike one pitch on the way, swung on and missed. The fastball overpowered him that time, and the count 0-2. Dave Winfield is playing almost as if Steve Garvey was up.
Yeah, you know, he don't have far to go to the warning track right now.
0-2 the count. Jerry Royce waiting. Now Guidry deals, and it's strike 3. Breaking ball inside corner, and it wasn't a thing Royce could do with that. So they leave Yeager, who just missed the home run. And at the end of 2, Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. We're moving along into the third inning. 1-0 New York. It'll be Ron Guidry, Willie Randolph, and Larry Milbourne. So it's the old case of the manager, Tommy Lasorda, gambling against Rodriguez so that he can have the opposing pitcher lead off the inning. And it worked out for him as Rodriguez grounded out for the third out. And now here is Guidry. Guidry swinging the bat for the first time this year in the World Series and against the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. Guidry struck out, sacrificed, and hits one foul off third down the line upstairs. 0-1 to Ron. No balls, 1 strike to Ron Guidry. Royce comes back to him, picks up the outside corner for a strike, and the count 0-2. Boy, it must be a strange feeling to be an American League pitcher and find yourself hitting.
A little scary, too, when you have to face this guy.
0-2 as Royce into the windup and delivers. Outside and high. Ball 1, 1-2.
You notice how shallow Thomas is playing him now. That's the difference.
Of course, you know who I blame? Not the outfielder. I blame all the brains in the dugout. The 1-2 pitch is fouled at the plate. Yeager bitten on the right hand by that. And the count is still 1-2. You know, so many times you'll sit in the stands and say, look at that outfielder, Winfield. And meanwhile, you have Bob Lemon and all the other coaches and all the other players sitting in the dugout.
Well, maybe the walkie-talkie didn't work.
Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Too much for Guidry. Down he goes looking. Strike 3. So you have 2 out here in the third inning. 1 out here in the third inning. Second strikeout. And the batter, Willie Randolph, who grounded to Garvey in the first inning. So Willie 0 for 1, hitting 154 in the series. Randolph, if you look in the box score, went 2 for 5, a triple and a home run yesterday. His last out was something to see as Thomas caught it almost to the wall in right center. He's got some power and promptly drives it down the right field line. Foul ball. Randolph didn't hit that hard. He hit it inside out. He was more jammed than anything, but he almost got away with it.
You know, Vinny, I just got to say one thing. I have never seen a World Series with the beauty that we have in the background and the way the Dodger people have treated us all over. I've never seen them like this. Lunchrooms, and it's like we're at the Waldorf Astoria.
I'll tell you what it is. It's a tribute to private capital.
My goodness, I tell you, this is definitely the major leagues.
Here's the strike 1 pitch coming up to Willie Randolph, low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a hazy day, however, today, although you can see the hillsides back of Dodger Stadium. You can't see the mountains. 1-1 to Willie Randolph. Larry Milbourne on deck. Royce into the windup. The left-handed delivers, and he's high with his fastball. Ball 2, 2-1. In the second inning, Reggie Jackson doubled into the left field corner, and Piniella singled him home. The Yankees might have gotten more, but Rick Cerrone hit into a double play to bail Royce out. Now the 2-1 pitch on the way. Very high, ball 3. And, of course, that's a storm signal as far as Royce is concerned. The first 2 innings, even though he did give up the run, he was making good pitches down. Suddenly now, the ball is starting to rise on him, and the count 3-1. Yeager wigwagging a couple of signs out. Royce into the windup, and the 3-1 pitch is a strike. It was a high strike, meaning it was at the top part of the strike zone. Willie Randolph was ready to go to first base, and Rich Garcia called him back. 3-2 to Willie Randolph with 1 out here in the 3rd inning, and the Yankees leading 1-0.
In all fairness to Richie Garcia, though, Randolph ducked the ball. I mean, if he stands up there normal, he's going to call it ball 4.
Here's the 3-2 pitch to the hitter, and it is a little high, ball 4. To Royce, who had all of his problems when his pitches were up in New York. Now suddenly, with 1 out, walks Randolph, and the batter is Larry Milbourne. Milbourne, the switch-hitting shortstop, playing for Bucky Dent and playing exceptionally well. He's hitting .286. He has had 1 error, but he's handled just about everything hit his way. Milbourne 2 for 9 as a right-handed batter. They look at Randolph and they go over there, and Willie's back on the bag. Randolph is a good, knowledgeable base stealer. He stole 14 out of 19, and it might be part of a hit-and-run play here with Milbourne. Royce out of his stretch, takes a look at first, comes to his hitter, breaking ball strike, and the count 0-1. Jerry really wristing that pitch up to the plate. Milbourne looking at Joe Altobelli, so is Willie Randolph, to see if Lem has put a play on. The Yankees play much hit and run, Spark?
Not too much. They'll fool with Cerrone a lot. Cerrone does it quite a bit.
Strike 1 pitch, runner not going, and it's fouled at the plate, and the count 0-2. So with 1 out here in the 3rd, Willie Randolph at first on a walk, 0-2 to Larry Milbourne.
Then he went in the 3rd inning. Lasorda had to stop walking after 3 innings. Lem sits over there real relaxed, and Tommy's walking, and I just wonder about Joe, Tommy's wife. I'll bet you she really has a go with him the way he goes.
He is a constant motion man. And, of course, there's also a contrast in ownership. George Steinbrenner, for instance, was in the Yankee training room, and he was everywhere. And, of course, Peter O'Malley never goes down on the field. Throw to first, Willie Randolph back to first. 1-0 New York. We're in the top of the 3rd. Royce squinting in, now looks over at Randolph as he comes set. The left-handed double checking Randolph, now to the plate, and it's looped over Garvey's head and slicing foul, and drops untouched, and it's still 0-2. Royce, during the regular year, his high, a half a dozen strikeouts. 3 would be his high in walks. Most runs he allowed in a game, 5. The most hits, a dozen. And the first time he was ever really chased early, Cincinnati got him, and also the Yankees. Here's the strike 2 pitch, fastball outside. Ball 1, 1-2. On deck, Dave Winfield, who struck out in the 1st inning. The Yankees 1 run, 2 hits. The Dodgers no runs, 2 hits. Royce again out of his stretch, looking at Randolph, and the 1-2 pitch is hit over Russell's head into left field for a base hit. Up with it is Dusty Baker, and the Yankees with runners at first and second and 1 out. So Jerry Royce is having his troubles, and again, Sparky, what do you do when you have a pitcher? You know his success is down, and the ball keeps coming up. There's not much you can do because he's aware of it.
Well, I think, though, the one thing the catcher's got to go out there and tell him right away, look, you're not bending your back. Jerry's staying straight up on a lot of his pitches that he's up with. When he's down, he's bending good.
Well, here is Dave Winfield, who is certainly the hungriest man in town. He is 0 for 15 in the World Series, struck out in the 1st inning. And now with a chance to hurt, with runners at first and second and 1 out. Dave Stewart gets up in the Dodger bullpen. And Royce, who has given up 3 hits and a run out of a stretch. The pitch to Winfield, swung on and missed. That low, hard slider. He better keep it downstairs with Winfield.
You got to keep it down on him, and if you can get it in off the plate for a ball, he'll chase that ball a lot.
I love the euphemism today by the ball players for a slump. You know what a slump is? It's a period of adjustment.
Yeah, sure.
There's the strike 1 pitch to Winfield. The high chopper to Say. He's going to go to Lopes for 1. Back to Garvey, not in time. Winfield on that high hopper to Ron Say, legging out what might have been a double play ball, but it wasn't hit quite hard enough, and that means Reggie Jackson coming up. So Winfield at first, Randolph at third with 2 out, and here's Jackson, who hit a low outside fastball and doubled into the left field corner. So the Dodgers haven't been able to get him out. He had 2 singles, 2 walks, and a home run yesterday, and now a double first time up today. Reggie 4 for 4 in the series. Royce out of his stretch, checking the runners, delivers, and a good fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Reggie started to pull the trigger and thought better of it. 0-1. The outfield on Jackson, Thomas shading him to right center. So the big gap is in left center field. Baker straightaway left, and Guerrero very deep and straightaway right. Randolph down the line from third. Winfield off first, held on by Garvey. Winfield, a very good base runner with all of his other exploits. Royce set at the belt. Big Blonde kicks and delivers, and he's high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just to conclude the thought on Winfield, in the regular season, he stole 11 out of 12. Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. Top of the 3rd inning. Double fours. Reggie waiting at the plate. Royce out of his stretch. Another look at the runners. And the 1-1 pitch to Jackson is hit foul off third. Down the line upstairs, and the count 1-2. Of course, looking down at the 44 worn by Reggie Jackson, that was one of the more prominent numbers worn for many, many years in the National League, with great distinction by Henry Aaron and the great Willie McCovey as well.
That's what I was going to say. Willie McCovey, I always said if he played in a ballpark like Atlanta and you weren't allowed to walk intentionally, he might hit 90 home runs.
1-2 to Reggie Jackson, and the crowd trying to cheer Royce out of a tough spot now. Yankees with first and third, 2 out, and Jackson waiting. Royce set at the belt, and the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Well, that's the 3rd strikeout for Jerry Royce. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. The Yankees have left 3. And at the end of 2.5 innings, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the 3rd inning, the Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. I'm Vin Scully along with Sparky-Anderson. Game 5 of the World Series. Upon its conclusion, we'll go back to Yankee Stadium in New York for Game 6. The probable pitchers for Tuesday night's encounter would be Bert Hooton and Tommy John. However, still not official, but listed as probable. And that 6th game from Yankee Stadium get underway at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Davy Lopes, followed by Bill Russell and then Steve Garvey in the 3rd inning, with the Yankees leading 1-0. Just to refresh your memory, when Ron Guidry beat the Dodgers, he allowed only 1 run, a home run by Steve Yeager. He went 7 innings. The Dodgers got 2 more runs in the 8th inning, charged to Ron Davis, and then Gossage came in to finally end it. So Guidry leading 1-0 in the 3rd. The pitch to Davy Lopes, over for a strike. Lopes struck out. He's 0 for 1. Davy with 4 hits and 16 at-bats, so he's hitting .250. And the strike 1 pitch swung on and lifted to center field. Winfield started back, but now he comes up again and makes the catch for the out. 1 away. Shortstop Bill Russell coming up. It was Russell who popped up in the 1st inning. Bill has 4 hits and 18 at-bats. That's a .222 average in the series. And on deck, Steve Garvey, who is 9 for 17. Better than 500. Guidry into the windup. The left-hander ready and delivers. Russell looks at a fastball for a strike. 0-1. The mound just about cut in half now. Half in sunlight, half in shade. The strike 1 pitch is a ground ball up along third. Rodriguez backs up a little, turns now and throws him out. So quickly, 2 out in the 3rd inning. And Steve Garvey, the batter. Garvey blooped a single to center in the 1st inning and reached second when Ron Say walked. And then Dusty Baker came up and hit a line drive, and Lou Piniella caught it, stumbled and fell to his knees, but he stayed with it. That's the closest the Dodgers have come. Then in the second inning, Yeager hit a ball that almost went out. It hit the top of the left field wall for a double, and the Dodgers left him. So it remains 1-0 Yankees on a double by Jackson and a single by Piniella back in the second inning. The pitch to Garvey, swung on and missed. Hard breaking ball in the dirt, and the count 0-1. Now, Sparky, is when I would think the hitters have the problem. The pitch is starting in the bright sunlight and winding up in the shade.
This is really tough, but you're going to lose the spin on the ball. There's no way to pick it up, and that pitch there just showed you. Garvey swung at that like it was a fastball.
0-1, the count to Steve Garvey. Guidry ready, Ron delivers, and a good breaking ball. Boy, a good hard curve, and the count 0-2. Ron Say on deck. Guidry 11-5 during the regular year, but the second half he was brilliant with an earned run average of a little more than 1.5. Guidry's strike 2 pitch on the way. Fastball just outside. Guidry came off the mound as if he was going to head for the dugout. 1-2 the count. Guidry before the strike had a bone bruise on his right foot. He also broke a finger. Garvey fouls it away. He broke a little finger on his right hand in August on a hot one hit back to the box. In fact, he still wears a protective splint while pitching to protect the little finger on his gloved hand. Guidry into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch to Garvey. Fastball fouled away, off to the right, out of play. So after a couple of good breaking balls, Guidry missed away with a fastball and came up and away, and it's still 1-2. Now the 1-2 pitch to Garvey. Guidry delivers, half swing, strike 3. I'm not sure if he even knew where that ball was.
No, it's hard to pick up right now.
So Garvey strikes out, 3 strikeouts for each pitcher. The Dodgers gone in order, and at the end of 3, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. The Yankees leading the Dodgers 1-0 as we go to the 4th inning. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for New York. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. Interesting, as we're into the beginning, really, of this Game 5, there were 50 players eligible to play in the World Series. Only Alejandro Pena of the Dodgers has missed action, and of course he's in the hospital with a bleeding ulcer and has no chance to play. Dave Revering and Dave LaRoche of the Yankees have not seen action. Everybody else has gotten in. Bob Watson has certainly gotten in. He was aboard on the Yarra by Lopes in the second inning. You know, this broadcast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bob Watson hitting .467. Boy, he's in the high rent district. 7 for 15 with 2 home runs and 7 ribbies.
Him and Garvey for first basemen are having an outstanding series.
And Royce comes inside, ball 1. Yeah, the first baseman are doing well, and the left fielder, and of course considering Winfield as the left fielder, have been pretty quiet. 1-0, the count to Watson. Royce comes back and missed inside, ball 2. Watson, Piniella, and Cerrone. Two balls and no strikes to Bobby. Royce thinking over his pitches, standing back of the rubber. He's had Dave Stewart throwing back of him the last 2 innings. Now Royce 2-0, and the pitch low again. So he's behind 3-0 to Bob Watson. Royce has walked 1 while striking out 3. Jerry into the windup, and the 3-0 pitch to Watson. Outside, he's walked him. So that's the second walk given up by Jerry Royce to go along with his 3 strikeouts, and Ron Perinoski going out to the mound to talk to him. wonder if Aronofsky might point out the fact that he's not bending his back enough.
He's just not bending. I remember Tom Seaver used to, the one thing he told me when he came over, he said, anytime I am not bending that back, just do like that from the dugout to me. So I'd motion, bend with my hand. And boy, then he'd get right back into it. But he said they get very careless. We all do that, he told me. And if you watch a pitcher, whenever time they're going up because they're lazy and not bending.
So Royce has walked Watson to open up the fourth inning, and here is Lou Piniella. The lights are on here at Dodger Stadium in the fourth inning, with the Yankees leading 1-0. Piniella singled to left field in the second inning to drive in Reggie Jackson. So Lou waiting, delivers, fouled it away, 0-1. Piniella now has 5 hits for 12 at-bats, including 2 RBIs in the series. So he's hitting .417. Watson at first, nobody out, and of course there's not much speed here with Watson the runner and Piniella the hitter. And the Dodger infield back in double play depth. Darrell Thomas shading Piniella just slightly towards right center. Royce, another look into Steve Yeager. Now checking Bob Watson. Garvey holding, and the pitch to Piniella, low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And again, the Dodgers do not like what they see. So for the third consecutive inning, Dave Stewart gets up in the Dodger bullpen. 1-1 to Lou Piniella. Yankees leading 1-0. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Royce ready, and the 1-1 change is swung on and missed. He didn't throw that very often.
Well, it's super, though. He ought to use that pitch more, Vinny. That's an outstanding change.
Yeah, that really surprised me. That's not usually a pitch you see Jerry serve up. But he tossed it at the right time, and the count 1-2 to Lou Piniella.
They probably figure they've tried everything else with Piniella. Let's try something that he knows I don't normally throw.
Watson at first. Here in the fourth inning, 1-0 Yankees on 3 hits. Royce out of a stretch, looks at Watson, kicks and comes back to the plate, and it's hit on the hand slowly to Lopes, and he drops it, then throws it away into the Yankee dugout. And there are runners in second and third on a ball you thought at least was a force play at second, maybe a double play, and Lasorda is going to come out and charge third base umpire Colosi. But you know, when you see a big league ball player make a play like that, you're speechless. It could not have been an easier ground ball. I don't know where Watson thought he could go. They're going to send Watson back to third. There's no way he could have scored on that.
No, so the people really understand, Benny, it's at the point you started when the ball is hit, even though the umpire might think he is safe at second before that ball went to first. No, he still only gets 2 bases from where he started. And Tommy got out there, maybe he was totally right.
Oh, sure. Watson had no chance of being allowed to score from first base. But for Davy Lopes, I guess he would indeed be looking for a place to hide. That is his second error. And Lopes has had a very poor series. He's been struggling. That's at least the third error that he has made. Well, he's made a lot more than that. And although you hate to dwell on it, when someone is having that kind of a series, you have to look it up. He has made 4 errors. So instead of at least 1 out and maybe a runner at first, you have nobody out and runners at second and third. And Cerrone, who hit into a double play, coming up. The infield, halfway on the right side. Say is up, but Russell has to stay back. And Jerry Royce delivers. Ground ball to Russell. The runners are going to hold since there wasn't anybody out. A throw to first in time for the out, 1 down.
Vinny, I can't understand, but why are you holding with the shortstop back? It's a ground ball to short. You send the man in. I can't quite figure out why they want to hold it.
I guess when you have Watson and Piniella, you just say, boys, you hold your ground. Neither man runs very well, and I guess they didn't want to give up. Well, I don't know.
I'm surprised because your shortstop went back. Dodgers were willing to give you the 1 run. Now they're going to put Rodriguez on. You got the pitcher coming up. If they get the pitcher out, that means then that your leadoff man's got to get a hit with 2 outs.
So they are walking Aurelio Rodriguez. When you think about it, the Dodger infield, 3 of the 4 men were halfway, almost all the way up. The 1 man back was Russell, and that's the man who handled the ground ball. And yet the Yankee runners remained on their bags with Piniella standing at second and Watson at third. 3-0, the count to Rodriguez, and he'll get another wide one, and in a moment, ball 4. So the bases are loaded with one out. Now the question, and I don't think it can be answered because the American League doesn't play the same game of baseball as the National League. In the American League, you would immediately say, or in the National League, hey, how about a squeeze? Is this fella a good bunter? But since he doesn't bunt, I don't know. What do you think?
They will not squeeze with Guidry, just like you said. He hasn't even been bad enough this year to have any confidence in him to try it, Vinny. You know, if you've been trying with him in spring training and working on it, you'd have confidence. Now you're setting up there, you're scared to death to try it.
We will say that Guidry sacrificed in the fourth inning of Game 1 with 2 strikes on him. So it's just something to think about. Royce looks over to the dugout. Shall I wind up or stretch? And they have told him, go ahead and wind up. So the base is loaded with 1 out. Jerry into the windup and delivers, and Guidry faked a bunt, took very high, ball 1. Watson walked. Piniella hit a little ground ball to Lopes. First, Davey couldn't pick it up, then he couldn't hold it. Cerrone grounds out. Rodriguez walked, and you have the bases loaded with 1 out. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way is bunted back towards Royce, and he will throw to the plate for a fourth. It wasn't really a squeeze because Watson wasn't coming.
You know, there's some funny things, believe me, in this last 3 games, some funny things have happened. The Yankees have had so many opportunities, and just like I say, the ground ball is short. He stays there. I don't know why. You know, they moved Russell back. They kept the other side. The Lopes up on the right side, but they moved back on the left. And here's he trying to beat out a bunt, for crying out loud, and there's no squeeze on him.
No squeeze. A very strange way to play this game. So they have 2 outs. The Yankees are leading 1-0. And the batter will be Willie Randolph. The bases are still loaded.
You know, Vinny, that's why I can't understand why they don't make it uniform in the World Series. Either you have it every year or you don't have the DH, because they're not even used to playing without it. They don't know what to do without it.
So Guidry, and all we did was, remember, he was bunting with 2 strikes on at Yankee Stadium, but he was just bunting for a hit. He was trying to drag the ball to first base. It was not a squeeze, and he hit it back to Royce. All right, here's Willie Randolph with the bases loaded, and he takes high, ball 1. The Yankees last night, or yesterday afternoon and on into the evening, but they had left 8 men in the first 4 innings, leaving the bases loaded twice yesterday. The 1-0 pitch, Royce hit a ground ball to Garvey. He'll go to the bag, and he's out of the inning. And the happiest guy in the ballpark is Davey Lopes.
Yeah, I don't blame Davey. You know, you make an error, you just don't want to see those runs cross the plate.
No runs, no hits, an error, 3 left. The Yankees have left 6. And at the end of 3.5 innings, the Yankees won, and the Dodgers nothing. Top of the 4th inning was sure a strange way to play the game, Sparky.
Yeah, it was playing a little strange. You know, they got a tremendous break when Davey threw the ball away, and they have second and third, nobody out. Get a ground ball to short, you don't score, nobody. You know Rodriguez is not going to hit. You know you're going to make your pitcher hit, and then he's trying to bunt. I don't really figure that one out.
Well, it is 1-0 New York, and now the Dodgers with Ron Cey, Dusty Baker, and Pedro Guerrero. Cey hitting .333 in the series, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. Ron Guidry into the windup, the left-hander ready, and Guidry deals, swung on and missed, 0-1.
Vinny, I'll guarantee you, Bob Lemon don't figure out what his guy was doing either. Bob's trying to get this straight in his own mind.
No balls and 1 strike. Guidry into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch on the way. Fastball hit down the right field line, foul, and slicing back and out of play. By the way, if you're keeping score with us and looking up at the line score, we do not hear the public address announcer or the official scorer's announcement. The Dodgers have 3 errors. That means on the ground ball to Lopes, he received 1 error for allowing Watson to get on first, and when he threw it away, he got another error. That means Lopes has committed 3 errors today and 5 in the series. The strike 2 pitch, Cey takes in the dirt, ball 1. Another thought you might like to think about on either coast, the temperature at game time. In Los Angeles, 75 degrees. The current temperature in New York, 53 degrees. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Cey, again fouled away. Off first, out of play, and back in the lower deck. Of course, current in New York, that makes it almost 6 p.m. Eastern time, 53. That's not bad. 1-2 to Ron Cey. He walked in the first inning. Ron Guidry leading 1-0. Into the windup and delivers, and it's swung on and missed. Strike 3, hard breaking ball. 4 strikeouts for Guidry, who looks great.
Yeah, he's throwing real good today. I think he's throwing better today than he did in New York the other day.
And, of course, when he was in New York, you remember, the Dodgers had 2 hits and nothing else in 4 innings. Got 1 run against him on a home run by Yeager, and wound up with just 1 run and 4 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. And he's pitching better than that today, so you can understand the Dodger flight. Talking about flight, here's Dusty Baker, lined out in the first inning, 0 for 1. Guidry ready, delivers, and the fastball low and inside, ball 1. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Stay on top of the news, hockey and otherwise, on WTOP, Washington.
All right, Baker waiting, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled off, and the count 1-1. The only run came in the second inning. Reggie Jackson hit a good pitch, doubled into the left field corner. And after Lope's error, Piniella singled to left to score Jackson. The Dodgers have had 2 men get to second base. The 1-1 pitch. Change, and he's high with it, ball 2.
That's a good changeup. Him and Royce have both thrown 1 excellent changeup apiece today.
So Baker backs out for the moment, 2-1, with Pedro Guerrero on deck. Guidry into the windup, and the 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled off. 2-2 the count to Baker. Guidry not a big man. He's 5'11", only 162 pounds, but he can move that baseball. Ron into the windup, and the 2-2 pitch. Bake swings and misses. Down he goes. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Guidry. It gives him 5 in the game. And the batter will be Pedro Guerrero. Guidry's high of strikeouts. He had 9 against Minnesota on the 2nd of September. And boy, he just broke off a deuce against Baker that was almost unhittable.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair. Dustin's in a little slump, and then they have to look at something like that.
Guerrero hitting .214, 0 for 1. He had a fly ball to right center in the second inning, but he's not ready, and he backs out. 2 down, bases empty in the 4th. 1-0 New York. Guidry into the windup, and the left-handed delivers. Guerrero swings and doesn't get it.
Benny, I was just thinking, this first World Series I can remember in about 10 that Rod Dado, the coach of USC, don't have a player plan on it.
That's right.
Because every World Series, Rod's got 1 or 2, 3 players out there.
0-1 to count to Pedro Guerrero. Ron Guidry delivers. He tried to uppercut a high outside fastball. If he had hit it, he would have hit it over the back of the roof behind home plate.
Benny, Guidry's throwing real good, and so is Royce, but honest to goodness, it's a little tough hitting out there in the twilight right now.
And Guidry is throwing a lot better than Royce in his ability to throw for strikes. 0-2 the count to Guerrero. Ron into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch. Guerrero strikes out. He struck out the side. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Guidry. And at the end of 4, the Yankees won and the Dodgers nothing. Larry Milbourne, Dave Winfield, and Reggie Jackson against a Jerry Royce, who has been in trouble since the first inning. The first inning, he retired the side in order, but he's been bobbing and weaving ever since. Milbourne hitting .313, and Royce's pitch is over for a strike, 0-1. 1 run, 3 hits for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits, 3 errors for the Dodgers. Royce ready, and the strike 1 pitch on the way. Is fouled away, 0-2. The Dodgers trying to move Guerrero, and Pedro is creeping in, and they move him back about 5 steps in right field. Dusty Baker standing in shade, but he will go into sunlight as soon as he moves to left center. Thomas is in the glare, and of course Guerrero staring right into the sun in right field. Strike 2 pitch to Larry Milbourne is taken just inside. Ball 1, 1-2. The only run of the game. Reggie Jackson doubled in the second inning, and Lou Piniella singled him home. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Off speed, and it's hit right back to the mound. Royce has it, flips to Garvey. 1 away. Royce's problem, Davey Lopes has committed, and, or put it this way, has been charged with 3 errors, 2 of them on 1 play. His error in the 2nd inning didn't hurt him, however. The run would have scored anyway. And the error in the fourth inning, which was compounded by the bad throw, set up what could have been a big Yankee inning, but it appeared as if the Yankees played it backwards, with runners at second and third, and the shortstop back. The runners held on a ground ball to short. Guidry tried to bunt and hit into a force play at the plate. And now here's Dave Winfield, who looks at a hard slider for a strike. Winfield is struck out, hit into a force play. Winfield is 0 for 2 and 0 for 16 in the series. Royce into the windup, and the strike one pitch is line to left. Baker is going to have to play it on a high bounce. And so Winfield, holding up his left hand, I think he's saying, there it is, hit number one. And he is pointing. And let's see, just what is Winfield doing? He is laughing. Maybe he was pointing out towards Baker. He wants the ball. Would you believe it? In the World Series, after going 0 for 16, Winfield said, I want the ball.
I guess he figures he might not get another one, maybe.
Well, that's the first time we've seen that. A fella get a base hit and he wants the ball. You know, he could buy one.
Yeah, he could buy about a carload.
He could buy a factory. And here's Reggie Jackson, a double and struck out. Well, there's a zany moment. Guy goes over 16 in the World Series, gets a base hit, and he wants the ball for his trophy case. Here is Jackson. 1 for 2. Winfield off the bag. Royce will look over there, and now it comes to the plate, and it's driven down the left field line, slicing foul, and going in the lower deck out of play. 0-1.
And then if they start that, pretty soon we won't have enough balls to play series.
That's really a strange sight. At first, I thought maybe he was good-naturedly saying to Dusty Baker, hey, I'm catching up to you. But he was just pointing to the umpires to get me the ball. 0-1 to count to Reggie Jackson. Royce at the belt, looks at first and delivers. Jackson a high chopper to Lopes. He goes to the bag. Thank you, John Bohannon. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. The Yankees leading the Dodgers 1-0. Steve Yeager, who almost hit one out in the second inning, he hit the top of the left field wall. It was almost caught by Piniella as well, and it wound up a double. And Ron Guidry ready to pitch to Yeager, swung on and missed, 0-1. Yeager homered against Guidry in the fifth inning at Yankee Stadium, and also fly deep to right field. His home run went to right at Yankee Stadium. Yeager with the count 0-1. Guidry into the windup. The left-handed delivers high and outside. 1-1. Guidry has struck out 4 consecutive. Garvey to end the third, and he got the side in the fourth. Say Baker Guerrero, and he has a half a dozen in the game. The 1-1 pitch, off speed and popped up, so the change takes care of Yeager. It'll be the third baseman, Aurelio Rodriguez, to make the catch.
I know if you're a manager in the, the opposite dugout, though, you're just happy that your player hit a ball in fair territory and stopped that strikeout string.
So it's over with, 1 down, and Darrell Thomas the batter. Thomas, a pop fly that bothered Dave Winfield. Winfield misjudging the ball in the glare, but finally came on to make a lunging catch of it. That was in the second inning. Darrell 0 for 1. Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing, bottom of the fifth. Guidry into the windup and delivers. Fastball low, ball 1. So the Dodgers had a bad time against left-handers during the regular season, and it has certainly continued against the Yankees with Guidry and John. The 1-0 pitch on the way, foul back. 1-1.
That keeps amazing me when you talk about that, though, Benny. I can remember when I was over here, left-handers the Dodgers just killed.
1-1 to Darrell Thomas. Here comes Guidry. A pitch over for a strike. Darrell faking a bunt. He had Rodriguez on the move, and the count 1-2. Of course, I don't really understand why a hitter fakes a bunt with 1 strike on him, because if he fakes it and it's a strike, now it's 2 strikes. What have you accomplished? The 1-2 pitch to Darrell is inside. 2-2. You know what I mean?
You've accomplished a strikeout on the next one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the right time to fake a bunt. 2-2 to Darrell Thomas. 1 away, bottom of the fifth. The only run. Reggie Jackson doubled. Lou Piniella singled him home. And now we're in the bottom of the fifth. That all took place in the second inning. 2-2 pitch. Darrell swings at a fastball and fouls it away. On deck, Jerry Royce. Game 6 of the Yankees. Tommy John and Bert Hooton, Tuesday evening. 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. on most of these same stations. Darrell waiting. Left-handed Guidry comes back 2-2, and it's swung on and missed. Hard breaking ball. That's 7 strikeouts for Guidry. And he has struck out 5 of the last 6 Dodgers. So he's getting better.
And he's a free agent.
So with 2 out, Jerry Roy's coming up. Roy struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1. Guidry takes a little hike on the grass behind the mound. Now Royce at the plate, Guidry into the windup. Ron ready and delivers, and he's way outside. One-handed by Cerrone, ball 1, 1-0. The Yankees 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. The Dodgers no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors. Fastball is low, ball 2.
Benny, the only trouble about a lot of strikeouts, that means you're throwing a lot of pitches. When you're throwing a lot of pitches and you're not used to going over 6, 7 innings, it can tell its toll a little bit.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Royce, taken for a strike. 2-1. How many innings to protect a 1-0 lead, for instance, would you guess Gossage would work? The 2-1 pitch is outside, ball 3.
To be truthful, Bob Lemon doesn't like to use Gossage. Over 1, he will use him 2 at times, and I don't blame him because he knows that Gossage using him 1 inning at a time, he can use him 4 or 5 times a week.
And he didn't pitch yesterday, and he's off tomorrow, and he has all of Tuesday to rest before Tuesday night. 3-1 pitch to Royce is taken for a strike. 3-2. Guidry has walked 1. He walked Ron Say on a 3-2 pitch in the first inning. Ron into the windup. Back he comes, and it's hit foul off third upstairs. 4th level, hits the facade, and comes all the way down to the 1st level directly behind the Dodger dugout, and the count remains 3-2. Guidry is really on a roll. He's retired 10 in a row since Yeager's double, and there is ball 4 as the Yankees were walking off the field. Guidry thought he had gotten a hook on the outside corner, but he missed. So in a moment, Davy Lopes will be coming up. And that breaks the string of 10 in a row, retired by Guidry. Davy Lopes struck out and flied to center. He's 0 for 2. Lopes, in the postseason games, hitting .245. But he's 0 for 2, and his series average now has dropped to .235. Davy charged with 3 errors today. Royce standing at first. Watson, of course, not holding the bag on him. Guidry ready and delivers. And the first pitch is up. Ball 1, 1-0. And you can bet the Yankees know Guidry's not strong. He has not completed a game this year, and they have to keep an eye on him. Suddenly that needle goes on empty, and you're in trouble.
Real quick, that last pitch was an 85, which is unusual.
And we think that speed gun is too high anyway here in the stadium. Now the 1-0 pitch to Lopes. Fastball swung on and missed, and that thing registered 93.
Yeah, I think he just let that one a little more.
1-1 to Davy Lopes. Bill Russell on deck. 2 out here in the 5th inning. Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. Guidry set at the belt. Ron ready and delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. So now he's staying with the heat, and he has to count his way 1-2, where when he was picking up all those consecutive strikeouts, he had that vicious breaking ball.
He's got a good chance to see it here now.
1-2 to Davy Lopes. Guidry ready, Ron delivers, and is a high chopper to shortstop. Milburn short hops, comes up with it, and throws him out. An excellent play by Larry Milbourne, the Yankee shortstop. Boy, he made up beauty. So the Dodgers leave Royce, and at the end of 5, Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. In the 6th inning, 1-0 Yankees, and Bob Watson at the plate. Jerry Royce ready, delivers off speed, swung on and missed. So he's gone a couple of times now to the changeup, 0-1. Watson aboard on Lopes' error and walk. Royce into the windup. The strike 1 fastball is hit foul, dribbling off to the left. Down to get it is Joe Altobelli, and the count 0-2. Watson, Piniella, and Cerrone here in the 6th. Royce, both feet on the rubber, checking with Steve Yeager. into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch is inside. Watson jackknifing to get out of the way of it. 1-2. Royce fighting his way out of trouble in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Got a double play to ease the load in the 5th inning. For Guidry, he had only the 1st and 2nd inning any kind of trouble. Changeup is hit down to Russell. Bill has it, straightens up, and goes to Garvey for the out. For the Dodgers, they had 2 on with 2 out in the 1st inning, and Baker lined out to left. With 1 out in the 2nd inning, Yeager hit the top of the left field wall, but not over, so it went for a double instead of a home run. And since then, the Dodgers have not been heard from. Guidry retired 10 in a row. He has struck out 7. Finally broke the string when he walked Royce, but Guidry has been absolutely magnificent the last 3 innings. Here now is Lou Piniella, knocked in the only run with a single to left in the 2nd inning. He was aboard on Lopes' error in the 4th. Piniella with Cerrone on deck. Royce on the rubber, into the windup. Jerry delivers fastball, whacked to right field. Guerrero, however, has a play and makes the catch for the out. In fact, he never did get to the warning track. So 2 down in the 6th inning, and Rick Cerrone, the batter. Darrell Thomas talking to Pedro Guerrero. Boy, it looks like there's a giant spotlight zeroed in right field. That must be tough despite the sunglasses.
Has to be awful rough. And yesterday, Jackson, he showed how rough that was. Reggie's not going to miss a ball like that. He just never seemed to hit him right in the chest.
Rick Cerrone hit into a double play, grounded to short. The Yankee catcher hitting .250 in the series. He's 0 for 2. Royce's fastball is fouled away, 0-1.
But I did think it was cute in that one story, Benny, for laughs when the guy said, well, I didn't see in his contract he was supposed to catch all of them.
0-1, the count to Rick Cerrone. Russell, Garvey, and Say do up in the bottom of the 6th inning for the Dodgers. The strike 1 pitch is lifted to Baker in left field. He's right there, and Dusty puts it away. So the Yankees are gone in order in the 6th, and at the end of 5.5 innings, Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. Russell has popped to 3rd and grounded to 3rd, and this big crowd now getting a little restless as Guidry goes to the windup and delivers. High fastball, ball 1. Guidry checking Rick Cerrone. The left-hander comes back to Russell, 1-0. Fastball is low, so he's been high, then low. Guidry has walked 2. He walked Say on a 3-2 pitch in the 1st inning, Royce 3-2 in the 5th. The 2-0 pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. 2-1. Guidry, who doesn't waste any time, comes back 2-1, and there's a drive into left center field, but Piniella racing to his left, leaped and makes the catch on the track just before going to the wall.
Ball was up, and he's been up. Last inning in the 5th, he started getting up, and now here in the 6th, he was up on 3 different pitches.
Russell a long out to Lou Piniella in left center, and the batter is Steve Garvey. Garvey blooped a single to center and struck out. The Dodgers have only 2 hits. The bloop single by Garvey and the long double off the top of the left field wall by Yeager. Guidry into the windup, and the pitch to Garvey. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. He started him right off with that hard breaking ball in the dirt. Garvey unable to hold up. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. Guidry deals outside and high. 1-1. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Guidry's breaking ball in the dirt. Ball 2. The Dodgers struggling. Guidry and the Yankees leading 1-0. Jerry Royce lost his first game of the year at Houston, 1-0. He lost at Houston in the division series, 1-0. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed, 2-2.
You can see the way Garvey's swinging at that ball. They're having a hard time picking that rotation up, Benny.
But Garvey backs out for a moment. Guidry with 7 strikeouts into the windup, and the 2-2 pitch to Garvey, low in the dirt, ball 3. That's the third 3-2 count. He walked Say in the 1st and Royce in the 5th. And now he goes 3-2 to Garvey with 1 out here in the 6th inning. Guidry heaves a sigh into the windup. The left-hander's pitch. Garvey chases it in the dirt, strikes out. It gets away from Cerrone, who throws him out.
See, Benny, there's the case. That ball was a bad pitch, but that's why I'm saying they're not picking it up good, because that spin, they're picking up the fastball all right, because basically it's straight or moving a little. But that hard, quick slider, they're just not picking up.
You know, when Sparky talks about picking it up, if you took a baseball and you drilled a hole and put a rod through it, and if you spun the ball as hard as you could, the red and black threads would blend together, and that's the way a fastball looks. If you throw a breaking ball, the ball is now not spinning that hard, and you see a lot more white. Then that's basically what you mean by picking it up.
Right, Benny.
The pitch to Ron Say is chased, a breaking ball in the dirt. So Guidry, with a great curveball, and he's keeping it down almost in the dirt so that if the Dodgers hit it, they're not going to do much with it. And the count 0-1. 8 strikeouts for Ron Guidry. Remember, his high for the year, 9. The left-hander ready in the strike one pitch. Inside, took a little off that time.
You know, Benny, I didn't realize why I could never hit until I got around Rose. Pete said, you know, that I'm picking up the dot real good. I said, Dot, I just tried to pick up the ball.
1-1, the count to Ron Say. And Guidry delivers fastball, hit on the ground to Rodriguez, who knocks it down, picks it up, and throws him out. He had the luxury with Say of taking plenty of time. He didn't have to field the ball cleanly. So the Dodgers roll over in the 6th. And for 6 tremendous innings, Ron Guidry has been the boss. Make no mistake about it. At the end of 6, Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. Order in the 7th inning. Rodriguez rushed into the breach when Greg Nettles hurt his thumb, and he has done exceptionally well. He's hitting .444. Royce delivers and gets a strike. Rodriguez today grounded out and walked. He had a couple of base hits yesterday. Aurelio Radio Rodriguez out of Mexico. Strike one pitch on the way. Royce delivers, and it's thumbed foul outside of first. Bangs up against the facade in front of the photographer's well. And the count 0-2. Ron Guidry on deck. Royce is due to bat 5th when the Dodgers hit in the 7th inning. Jerry hands it aside, checking with Yeager, and the strike 2 pitch on the way. Slow curve, hit down to Russell. He's taking his time with Rodriguez and throws him out easily. That's a good thing, a veteran ball player. They're always thinking and remembering long before the ball is hit. This fella can't run. I've got some time to think.
Well, the guys that have played like Russell, they know these guys. When they walk in the box up there to hit, they say to themselves right away, if he tops the ball, I got plenty of time, or if this guy can fly, I got to rush and hurry.
Here's Ron Guidry, struck out and bunted into a force play at the plate, and of course I'm sure they will x-ray that play after this game is over. The pitch to Guidry, low, ball 1. He came up with a bases loaded, 1 out in the 4th. It wasn't a squeeze. He tried to drag a bunt for a base hit, and Royce fed it to Yeager to get the force play. The 1-0 pitch, Guidry sprays it foul off third upstairs, and the count 1-1. The only run, Reggie Jackson doubled in the 2nd inning. Lou Piniella singled him home, and that's it. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, 1-2. Guidry might not be hitting, but boy, what a game he's pitched. He has struck out 8, allowing just 2 hits. The 1-2 pitch, Royce gets him swinging. For Jerry Royce, that would be 4 strikeouts. And with 2 down in the 7th, Willie Randolph will be coming up. Jerry Royce pitching the last game of the year at Dodger Stadium. One of the big stories of the year resulted from the fact he couldn't pitch the first game of the year here. Royce hurt his leg the day before the opening day, and a kid named Fernando Valenzuela was allowed to start. Randolph takes high, ball 1.
How did that work out, Benny? Did he do a good job?
Not bad, including a shutout, 2-0, and he became the biggest story of the year. Now the 1-0 pitch to Randolph. Taken in there, a high strike up around the letters. And, of course, as Sparky mentioned earlier, Randolph makes him look high because he stays in that crouch all the time.
And then he likes to duck a little lower. We keep yelling over there all the time at the umpires. He likes to duck the ball.
1-1 to Willie Randolph. Grounded out to Garvey twice and walked. The 1-1 pitch is high. Ball 2, 2-1.
You know, Benny, you talk about Fernando. After he got going 3-4 times, everybody over in the American, we'd watch the scoreboards to see how he's doing. Root like heck for it.
What a story. 2-1 pitch on the way. It's a ground ball to the left of Russell. He one-hands it behind second base, throws to Garvey and gets him. Good play. So Royce has now retired the last 7 in a row, and at the end of 6.5 innings, the Yankees won and the Dodgers nothing. Of this 1981 World Series, 1-0 New York. Guidry pitching to Baker, and the left-handed delivers a strike. 0-1. Baker with 2 on in the first inning, lined out to Piniella, and he struck out in the fourth. The strike 1 pitch to Dusty Baker. Breaking ball, grounded foul, so he's in a hole 0-2. Baker has 2 hits in 17 at-bats. Dave Winfield has 1 hit in 17 at-bats. And there are 2 guys who can give you a change of 10.
Yeah, they could go to Disneyland once in a while.
0-2 to Dusty. Guidry into his windup, and the strike 2 pitch on the way. Half swing, down he goes on the breaking ball. So Baker strikes out. 9 strikeouts for Ron Guidry. That equals his high. He had 9 against Minnesota in September.
I know, if you ever watch Guidry, though, the first 3 innings, he's always extremely tough. The middle, he's so-so, and at the end, he normally gets a little tired.
Here's the pitch now to Pedro Guerrero, a strike, and he's just shredding the strike zone. And every time you look up, the hitter's in a hole to him. 0-1. Guidry checking Cerrone, and Guerrero backs out. Royce still a ways before he is due to come up. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Terry Forster and Bob Welch. And the strike 1 pitch to Pedro Guerrero. Breaking ball, a high fly ball to left. Back goes Piniella. It's gone. Bleachers. It is a 1-1 tie. Guerrero getting a bear hug from Tommy Lasorda, and this crowd wants Guerrero to come out on the field. And they are cheering for Guerrero. They are pleading for Guerrero, and here he comes. No, he stops. And the pitch to Yeager will be a strike. Guerrero was just starting to come up the steps when he saw Guidry was pitching, and Pedro went back down into the dugout. Boy, it's something. A great effort suddenly explodes on 1 pitch.
I high fastball and got it right up over the plate.
0-1, the count to Yeager, who was doubled and popped up. Guidry ready. The strike one pitch in the dirt. Down in the Yankee bullpen, they begin to move around, and you can guess who's up. The Goose. So Gossage in the bullpen here in the 7th inning of a 1-1 tie. Yeager waiting, and time is called. No pitch. It's off speed, but it was the third base umpire, Nick Colosi, who hollered time, and time is out. So the Yankees and Ron Guidry nursing a 1-0 lead into the 7th inning. And Guidry, after striking out his 9th hitter, and I mean he's been magnificent. He had not allowed a hit since Yeager's double in the 2nd inning. And Guerrero homers to tie it up. Now the 1-1 pitch to Steve Yeager. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. So when in doubt, come right back with that hard breaking ball.
Especially after Guerrero hit that high fastball. He's not going to have that happen again.
On deck, Darrell Thomas. Guidry squinting into Cerrone. Now the 1-2 pitch to Yeager. Swung on, another high drive. Back goes Piniella. Way back. It's gone. Come out and take a bow, and Darrell Thomas won't get in the batter's box, I don't believe. Well, they call him Louisiana Lightning, and Guidry's been hit by it.
I told you, Benny, that late in the game, that's where you have his problems if he's going to have it.
Darrell Thomas fouls it away. Now that the Yankees are behind, you immediately wonder, what about Gossage? And he has stopped throwing. It is 2-1 Dodgers in the 7th. The strike one pitch to Darrell Thomas, low, 1-1. 56,115 going wild at Dodger Stadium. Home runs by Guerrero and Yeager back-to-back. The strike one pitch to Darrell. High and outside, 1-1.
Yeager's hit Guidry real well. A home run over in New York, a ball a foot from being a home run here today, and then that ball.
1-1 to Darrell Thomas. Guidry into the windup. The 1-1 fastball, and that's hit to center. Winfield is there, however, to make the catch. 2 down. And now, instead of going out, Jerry Royce is very much here to stay, and he's coming up to hit. Getting a standing ovation from a lot of the people. Not quite everybody, but a good 3/4. He goes to the bill of his helmet, and he's not ready to get in yet. The Dodgers 2, the Yankees 1, with 2 out in the 7th inning. Guidry ready, delivers, swung on and missed. And Royce was trying to hit it out.
Royce was trying to go deep.
0-1. When the Yankees hit in the 8th inning, Larry Milborn, Dave Winfield, and Reggie Jackson. The strike one pitch on the way. Breaking ball inside, 1-1. Goose Gossage is standing in the brilliant sunshine with his arms folded in the Yankee bullpen. The 1-1 fastball is on the corner. I think what they'll probably do is wait to see what the hitters do in the top of the 8th inning.
They sure will, Benny. They don't like to let the Goose get in there and have to go too long.
1-2 to Jerry Royce. Guidry winds, delivers, outside and high. Ball 2. He was sailing along on a 2-hitter, leading 1-0, when Guerrero homered and then Yeager homered. The 2-2 pitch swung on, line drive, backhanded by Milburn. For the Dodgers, 2 runs, 2 hits, and now everybody up. At the end of 7, Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Trailing 1-0 since the 2nd inning. And Ron Guidry pitching a tremendous game. He had struck out 9. At one stage, he had struck out 4 in a row, and 5 of the 6 batters he faced. He had retired 10 in a row. Then he walked Royce, turned right around to retire the next 5 in a row, and suddenly, with 1 out in the 7th, Guerrero a home run into the seats to tie, Yeager a home run to put the Dodgers in front. But here come the Yankees. It'll be Milbourne, Winfield, and Jackson. So big boys coming up in the 8th inning. And Jerry Royce ready to go to work with Bob Welch and Terry Forster in the Dodger bullpen. And the pitch to Milbourne is a big chopper to say. He one-hands it, throws to Garvey. Now Dave Winfield coming up. Struck out, hit into a force play, and then in the 5th inning, single to left. His first hit in 17 World Series at-bats, and he stopped the game and asked for the ball. Well, now he's coming up with the bat, 1 out in the 8th. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1, and on deck, swinging that bat like a man possessed to make sure he's loose, Reggie Jackson. Winfield kicking at the dirt, backs out, bangs at the spikes. Big guy not quite ready to get in, and Royce standing patiently at attention just behind the rubber, waiting for him. Winfield is still not ready. Now he is. Royce into the windup, and the pitch to Winfield low, ball 1. Royce and Yeager, Garvey, Lopes, Russell, Say, and both Garvey and Say are guarding the lines. The outfield deep and way around to left. Baker with Darrell Thomas in left center, and Guerrero over in right center field, fighting sunlight and shade. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. Winfield backs out, looks down to Joe Aldebelli, facing up and down in the third base coach's box. Winfield very deliberate, now settles in. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Royce delivers, foul back to the screen, and the count 1-2. 1 out in the 8th. The Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors. The Yankees 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. And we're in the 8th, 1 away. Winfield again backs out. He gets into the box as if he's putting his feet in concrete on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, he's getting dug in very well.
Very careful. Now the 1-2 pitch. Royce delivers inside, and the big guy goes down in sections. He must have been looking for maybe a pitch down and away, and he almost walked into it.
I think he was looking, like you said, that ball away from him, Benny, and he started to go across because that ball was inside, but not that far inside.
He came in to make it closer than it appeared. 2-2. Royce again waiting. Winfield first the right foot, now the left foot. Royce on the rubber. And Jerry into the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Winfield swings and misses. Strike 3. The ball was up, but in, and Winfield was tied up on it. And now, boy, you talk about one of those brilliant moments. Here's Reggie Jackson, and you know he wants to take him downtown.
He'll take some cuts to try to go downtown.
Just to look at him warming up in the on-deck circle, you know what he's thinking. So Reggie checks in. He doubled, struck out, hit into a double play. Royce deals, swung on, and foul back. 0-1. 2 out in the 8th inning. The Dodgers 2, the Yankees 1. The Dodgers down 2-0 at Yankee Stadium. Caught up yesterday and now trying to take a lead in this World Series. 0-1 to Reggie Jackson. Jackson is ready. Royce fussing at the bill of the cap. Now both feet on the rubber. They stop in the Dodger bullpen to watch. The strike 1 pitch to Jackson is high. 1-1. On deck, more trouble, of course, Bob Watson. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1, 2 out in the 8th. Royce looks down the barrel. Steve Yeager wigwagging a couple of signs out to him. The outfield fanned out straight away on Reggie. Fastball is hit to left, but Baker is there. He's got it. And Jerry Royce has retired the last 10 in a row. And at the end of 7.5 innings, Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Thank you, John Bohannon. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, the Yankees make a couple of changes. Goose Gossage comes in out of the Yankee bullpen, and he will bat in Reggie Jackson's spot since Jackson made the last out in the 8th inning. Jerry Mumphrey comes in with him. Mumphrey will go in the number 9 slot in center field. Dave Winfield will go to left, and Lou Piniella will go to right. And the Dodgers will have Lopes, Russell, and Garvey in the 8th inning. Dodgers leading 2-1. I would not want to make my living hitting against Gossage with this light or any other light. The pitch is high and outside. Ball 1. Are you surprised, Sparky, that he's coming in behind?
No, here's the case, Vinny, where they just got to stay in this ball game.
The pitch to Lopes is low. Ball 2, 2-0. So the great Goose Gossage, he doesn't come in very often when the Yankees trail. But, of course, this is the World Series. Lopes is 0 for 3. The 2-0 pitch missed. Ball 3. Dodgers 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors. Yankees 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. And Lopes takes a strike, 3-1. Gossage in the World Series has been in 2 games, worked 4 innings, struck out 5. The 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed, 3-2. Ron Guidry shows you what a great game he pitched to keep a ball club that led the National League in home runs so quiet, and then on 2 pitches, the game got away on him.
But that's why the good clubs, they can get you that quick, then.
3-2 pitch to Lopes is low. Ball 4. And if anybody would like to make something happen on the base paths, it's Davy Lopes. After committing or being charged with 3 errors today, 2 on ground balls and the other on the throw. The batter is Russell. As we have said throughout the series, the Dodgers have not been able to use Russell at his best. They have not been able to play hit and run. Because of a bad wrist and finger, he's not been able to go to right field. But let's see. He's going to bunt. In the air, caught by Watson, and holding at first is Davy Lopes. So we were setting the stage for that. Normally, Russell takes a shot at right field, but he can't do that. So he pops up the bunt, and the batter is Steve Garvey, a bloop single, and then struck out twice. Garvey is 1 for 3. Boy, don't go wandering off. When the Yankees come up in the 9th inning, they have Bob Watson, Lou Piniella, and Rick Cerrone. Lopes at first, held on by Watson. Lopes is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. The pitch to Garvey is a fly ball into right field. Piniella coming up for it. He's right there waiting, makes the catch for the out, and Lopes all the while holding. So Lopes walked on a 3-2 pitch, but Russell popped a bunt up. Garvey a fly ball, and the batter is Ron Say. Say has walked, struck out, and grounded out. 0 for 2. Ron has 5 hits in his 17 at-bats in the World Series. So Goose Gossage trying to get the Dodgers out in the 8th and then give the job over to the hitters in the 9th. Throw to first, and Lopes just did get back under Watson's tag. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1 in the 8th inning. Gossage leaning on the left knee. Reading Cerrone's sign. Say backed out for the moment. Now Ronnie at the plate. Gossage ready and delivers, and is a high bouncer foul. I think it might have even gotten a bit of Ron Say's front foot. 0-1. Lopes took a pretty good lead. I think if he gets the slightest chance, he might try to go.
He's going to go sometime here, and I look for him myself to go now because there's no use to wait. He's got 1 strike on him, so you know they won't walk Say.
0-1, the count to Say. Lopes off the bag. Gossage checking. Goes over there. Davey diving back, and when he dives back, he has taken just about as big a lead as the law allows. And he will ask for time, and it's granted by Dick Stello. He'll brush off about 5 pounds of Dodger Stadium real estate. 2 out here in the 8th inning. The Dodgers 2, the Yankees 1. The Yankees scored in the 2nd. Jackson doubled. Pinella singled him home. With 1 out in the 7th, Guerrero and Yeager back-to-back home runs. Now the strike one pitch. Say is hit, and he's hit on the helmet, and down he goes. Ron Say is hit, and I can see his wife, Fran, sitting directly below us, and she is visibly upset. Say took a fastball right on the helmet, and this ball game has stopped completely. Say is still down, and while the Dodger players minister to Say, we can see Dodger wives ministering to Franny directly below us. Say is on his back, arms outstretched, and Dodger trainer Bill Buehler, along with all of the other Dodgers around him. And we have talked about how tough it is to see here. And then, of course, a high inside fastball. Say tried to get out of the way of it, and it hit him right off the helmet on the left side. And thank God for the helmet. But even so, with the tremendous speed, on the gun, the last pitch registered 94 miles per hour. And Say is still down. Paul Padilla and Bill Buehler ministering to him. And Say would appear to be conscious at this stage for sure. And now Buehler and Paul Padilla sit him up. And immediately the Dodger wives kind of motion out towards home plate as if to say to Fran, look now, he's sitting up. It's a lot better. But you can imagine, Say is now talking to Buehler and Padilla. So he has been thoroughly shaken up. He rubs the left side of his head. But he is conscious, and apparently the helmet took the full force of that 94 mile per hour fastball. Now he's on his feet. However, Say is not going to play anymore today. He will be walked carefully and slowly back to the Dodger dugout. And Fran Say being comforted by Dodger wives directly below us, and hopefully the worst is behind her and for Ron. So Davy Lopes is at second. We'll have a runner, Kenny Landreau, and we'll pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
Action on ice. Caps hockey here on WTOP, Washington.
Kenny Landreau will run for Say. Dusty Baker will be the batter. With first and second, 2 out in the 8th inning, the Dodgers leading the Yankees 2-1. And Baker lined out to left and struck out twice. As we mentioned, the lights have been on for quite some time. But it is only 4 o'clock in Los Angeles on a bright, shiny day. We got plenty of powder blue sky, so the lights have not taken effect. The pitch to Baker is fouled back, and he started him with a slider.
Yeah, Benny, that other pitch, just a hard fastball that took off, and Ronnie, you just can't pick it up. That's the trouble. You can't pick up that ball.
0-1, the count to Dusty Baker. Now the strike one pitch to Baker is a check swing foul, and the count 0-2. And we can see Fran Say has left her seat to anxiously go down to the Dodger dressing room and make sure her man is all right. I think back in the old days, in the early 50s, when they made fun of Branch Rickey's Pittsburgh Pirates, saying they looked like soapbox players with those helmets. How many lives have been saved? Ground foul outside of third, 0-2. Players have so much pride. In the old days, they refused to wear anything. Most of them wouldn't even wear the inner lining, and they finally had to make it an absolute rule. You can't come up to the plate without a helmet. What a great rule that is. Strike two pitch to Baker, swung on and fouled away.
Most of them wear the ear flap, too. I think that almost should become mandatory because it's just so easy, Benny, for a ball to take off like that and could ruin your career.
And Gossage, of course, throws with such tremendous velocity. 0-2, the count to Dusty Baker. Gossage deals, swung on and fouled back, wedging into the backstop screen and staying there. Davy Lopes at second. Kenny Landreau running for Ron Shea at first with 2 out in the 8th. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Watson, Piniella, and Cerrone are due up in the 9th inning. And timeout because the bat boys will try and dislodge the ball that is wedged in the screen. Somebody will have to climb up there with a bat and knock it loose. You wonder why? Oh, just supposing the 1 in a million, a ball is loose that's in play, and at the same time that one suddenly comes out of the screen and you have 2 baseballs in play, so they want to avoid that jam, and they have pried it loose, and we can continue. Gossage plants the right foot, looks in, Dusty Baker waiting, no balls and 2 strikes. Gossage set, delivers, breaking ball, fouled away.
You know, one thing, Benny, that the fans have to understand, no way would Gossage throw at anybody. He knows how hard he throws, and that's one thing he would never do.
And, of course, when he throws that hard, the ball just seemed to just sail and run in on Say. Say didn't have a chance to get out of the way. Strike 2 pitch, runners go. It's inside. The throw to third. They pulled it off. The double steal. Pitch way inside. That made it tough for Cerrone. And Lopes beat the throw to third. Down to second goes Landreau. So after the double steal, the Dodgers have runners at second and third, and Gossage wants to talk to Cerrone. A guess what they might be talking about now.
I think he's going to tell him, I'm going to power with my fastball. I'm going to try to stay right away from him.
1-2 the count. 2-1 Dodgers in the 8th. Baker trying desperately to come up with a key hit all throughout the series. The 1-2 pitch, fastball hit foul down the right field line in the lower deck.
He went away with him, but now he's liable to come right back in. Although I think Gossige's a little concerned, too. You know, when you hit a man like he hit Say, that bothers him, too.
Gossage, both feet on the rubber. Baker back up to the plate. Gossage 1-2 pitch, fastball fouled away. It was downstairs. Dusty had to go down and out to get it. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Bottom of the 8th inning. Gossage looks in with runners at second and third. Baker waits. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, hit foul down the left field line, out of play, carrying to the second deck. You got to understand that ball was fouled from the moment it left the bat, but you have 56,000 people, the majority of whom are seeing everything with their hearts.
So you have to remember, this is the best that Baker has really battled this time up. He's really battling up there.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Baker. Swung on, ground ball to third. Backing up is Rodriguez. Throws to first in time. So the Dodgers lead 2, lose an opportunity, and they lose Ron Say, at least for the 9th inning. And they're not saying goose, they are booing Gossage as he walks off the field. At the end of 8, Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Roger Angell is a very talented writer with a keen and sensitive insight into sport. Here's an excerpt of Roger Angell's writings on the fascination of baseball, and I quote, "Baseball's time is seamless and invisible, a bubble within which players move at exactly the same pace and rhythms as all their predecessors. This is the way the game was played in our youth and in our fathers' youth." End of quote. Baseball fever, catch it, it's worth it. The preceding message furnished by Major League Baseball. All right. Darrell Thomas is at third for the fallen Say. Kenny Landreau is in center field. And now the Yankees, Bob Watson, Lou Piniella, and Rick Cerrone in the twilight of Los Angeles, and the Dodgers holding on to a 2-1 lead. Royce into the windup. Jerry delivers, and it's fouled away. Breaking ball off to the right second deck. 0-1. Watson aboard on an error, walked and grounded out. 0-2. The outfield with Landreau in right center. And the pitch very high. Pops out of Yeager's mitt, 1-1. In the Dodger bullpen, left-hander Terry Forster and right-hander Bob Welch. Roy standing behind the rubber. Yeager winking a few signs out. And the 1-1 pitch to Bob Watson is hit down the right field line, fouled out of play. In the count 1-2. Garvey is deep and on the chalk at first. Darrell Thomas is deep and guarding the line at third. Baker is deep and straight away in left. Landreau is over in right center, so there's nobody from center to left center field. And Guerrero deep in right. 1-2 pitch to Bob Watson is fouled away off first base upstairs. Ninth inning, Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Home runs by Guerrero and Yeager. After the Yankees had scored back in the second inning, a Jackson double and a Piniella single. The 1-2 pitch is a ground ball to Russell. Tough hop. He stays with it. Throws to Garvey. One away.
That was a tough play, and he really stayed with that ball. That was an excellent play.
Having seen so many ground balls here at Dodger Stadium, as soon as that ball hit, I knew it was trouble. But Russell stayed with it, kind of folded himself over it, and then threw him out. So 1 out in the ninth. Jerry Royce has now retired 11 in a row since Dave Winfield singled back in the fifth inning. 1 out in the ninth. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1, and Lou Piniella the batter. Piniella singled in the only Yankee run in the second inning. He was aboard on the 2 errors by Lopes in the fourth inning and flied to right in the sixth. The entire playing field is now in shadow. Only if Guerrero goes up against the right center field wall, it looks like some brush strokes of sunlight on that pale blue right center field area. Royce looks into the windup. He delivers. Piniella hits a bouncer up the middle, and that's going to be into center field for a base hit. So the Yankees are very much alive as Piniella, a solid hitter, singles, and the batter is Rick Cerrone. That's the first hit for the Yankees since the fifth inning. By the way, we understand that Ron Cey is being examined right now by the doctors behind closed doors in the Dodger dressing room, so there is no report immediately available. If we get one, you shall have it. Now a runner for Piniella, I would guess.
Yeah, we'll have a runner, Benny. Bobby Brown will come in and run, I'm sure. Yeah, it's Brown.
So Bobby Brown will run for Piniella, representing the tying run here in the ninth inning, and Rick Cerrone will be the batter. Danny Ozark gesturing to Dusty Baker. He's also gotten Darrell Thomas to move back and closer to the line. And now they want Kenny Landreau to play Cerrone more over towards left center field. So 1 out, Brown at first, and here is Cerrone. Royce will look at first, comes to the catcher, and that's hit to center. Landreau coming up. He's there. He's got it for the second out.
Metro's going crazy with Monty Basco on that walkie-talkie. That line is burning up, believe me it is.
Aurelio Rodriguez with 2 out and Bobby Brown at first. Rodriguez coming up. He has his foot in the door, and Jerry Royce trying to slam it shut. The Dodgers trying to do what most people said they could not do. Come home down, no games to 2, and win 3. And this crowd is up. And you're going to hear some noise again as Royce is trying to get the last out. Brown, a cautious lead, held on by Garvey. Rodriguez waiting, and the pitch to him is a line drive foul just down the left field line. It hit the umpire as it got by Darrell Thomas. If the ball were fair, I think Thomas would have caught it. And Joe Altobelli is arguing with third base umpire Nick Colosi. Bob Lemon comes out, only to have the plate umpire Garcia explain that the ball hit Colosi on his right foot, foul. Darrell Thomas diving across the line trying to flag it. So foul ball, and the count 0-1. Rodriguez twice grounded to short and was walked intentionally. 56,115, and they're standing at Dodger Stadium. 2 out in the ninth. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Brown, a short lead at first. And the strike one pitch to Rodriguez. Fastball fouled away. 0-2. And these are the moments, the only word you can think of. They are excruciating. This town will have been put through an emotional ringer, and then the pressure will be all at Yankee Stadium. So this could be the last inning of the last game in 1981, and the crowd making the most of it. Royce left foot on the rubber. Rodriguez waiting. Jerry out of his stretch. Looks at Bobby Brown. Strike two pitch. Got him swinging. Strikes out Aurelio Rodriguez. The Dodgers have swept the Yankees at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers have taken a 3-2 lead in this 1981 World Series, and we had given you that statistic earlier. 76% of the time, the team that won Game 5 wins the series. What happens in New York remains to be seen. It'll be Hooten and John Tuesday night, and we'll go from there. And I'll say one thing. This isn't even close to being the best Dodger team I've ever seen, but without a doubt, it has to rank high up on a ball club that refuses to quit.
Well, Vinny, we talked about it earlier when they were down 2-0 in New York. They were down 2-0 to Houston, 2-1 to Montreal. Tommy Lasorda is not going to let them quit. I knew that. Bob Lemon's not going to let the Yankees quit. This thing's just going to be a great series to the finish.
Right down to the wire. The fifth game of the 1981 World Series is now history. The final score, the Dodgers 2, the Yankees 1.
This copyrighted